There is more than even the two methods that I've given you. I mean, think of this. What if you were to just consecrate an entire room? What if you had 8 friends over, 10 friends over, and you wanted to just consecrate the entire house and make the whole thing your sanctuary for the night and just bring the roof up off the house? What are you doing whenever you are creating your circle of protection, or your cone of power, or your walls of power, or consecrating and empowering your entire fortress or sanctuary? You're creating a space that exists outside of the space that it used to be. You'll notice a lot of times the sounds you would ordinarily hear outside, you don't hear anymore. Or they sound like they're far below you or far away somehow. Or somehow that there's this sound along with it that means it's echoing through. You'll hear it echo. I mean, I've noticed when me and friends get together and we really get high in the spirit, talking about this, about the things that we love within paganism and spirituality, we start listening and we realize we're not really where we were anymore. We notice that we're not on the earth anymore. And we'll evaluate that, and it's still we won't hear the sounds. And I'm on the highway. I'm 35 feet exactly from the highway, and it has 18-wheelers up and down it all the time. And I'm exactly 150 feet from a railroad track that runs right along parallel with my building. Tell me, I mean, and we get trains through chronically here, okay? You know, and when you and all of your friends can acknowledge that there hasn't been a sound out there for so much time, you're just not on earth anymore. You're not in the same place you used to be. And it makes you feel empowered and even higher. And you may then even start hearing wind whispering around the building, though it'll sound like it's by your ears, but around the building. You may hear what sounds like song going on around you, depending on where you go. And a lot of times you just won't even know where you have gone, but you've gone, okay? And then sometimes when you acknowledge that you've gone, you start automatically coming down, and you start hearing those sounds that are normally around you, you start hearing them below you. And then you hear them getting closer and then closer, and before you know it, you're hearing the train, or you're hearing an 18-wheeler going by, and the building rattles, because I'm a little 12 by 24 portable metal building on cinder blocks, and so it rattles when 18-wheelers go by here. Everything in here rattles. Okay, but when we were together and just lost in our conversation, or whatever we were singing or chanting or talking about, you know, when we were there, none of this happened. And by ethics and physical law, it should have happened. But thank God us that it didn't. You know, we can bless the higher power for blessing us with taking us away from this earth for just a little while, so we may have that peace. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about that peace that you don't usually get here on the earth, because there's always something overcasting that, something that's ready to pounce at the drop of a hat and say, oh no, not another problem, or whatever. You know, there is a lot to do with getting out of here for a while. And this is without trying. I mean, I've been doing this for so long that it just happens without trying. And my friends, they swear up and down that I'm astraling the whole building. And this has not only happened in this little building, but it happened in my house in Dayton whenever we would get together. And I've had the same circle of friends for over 17, 18 years now, Rodney included, and you've met him. Edgar, for more recent than that, but he's been involved in a lot of this. I mean, for real. You know, and we've even, you know, entered into the fairy realm, the fae realm, without realizing it at one point. And I remember that because it was at one of the times that Edgar was involved, you know, with us on it. And that was quite surprising because it was the first time that that had happened. But a lot of my friends swear up and down that I'm astraling the building that we're in currently. You know, I feel that I may be a core component in that with my psychic energy. But I feel that it's all of us. It has to be, you know, because that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of power. And whenever I'm sitting here alone, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. I'm not saying it can't. I haven't tried it, haven't really evaluated it, and now that I have, I'm going to have to give that a go. You know, and maybe it just has, but I haven't thought about it. Usually, whenever I go into it, I have an agenda, and so I don't sit there and think about it, but now that I'm thinking about it, things do get awfully quiet whenever I'm casting up my circle. Whenever I am, well, that would be creating that place in between worlds like I told you. Okay, but in the other way, it was a totally different thing, and that is astraling a building, or astraling the sanctuary that we're in, whatever that building is. You know, and it's two different, totally different things altogether. I can say that I may be a core component of this whole thing with my psychic energy, with the knowledge and wisdom I have, and with the fact that all of these are my students. But I feel that it's all of our energy when we're getting into this spirit. It's all of our energy that is so increasing and so powerful. And the Lord and Lady within all of us that is making this building move, that is taking us into another realm. And we don't know what realm it is because so far we don't feel that we should ever look outside. You know, that may just destroy it because it may just not be a physical movement that's transpiring there. It may be all of us going into this peaceful space with the abode because the abode is meant to go with us. And so we hold to that. We don't look outside. There was one time we made the mistake, and that was because the mini blinds were open, and this was in the Dayton house. This was in the house that I used to have. We looked outside, and we felt the energy go real dark, real fast. It was like, boom, like an elevator that just popped all of its bands. And when we did look outside, we saw something humanoid but undescribable. It looked like a person but made out of a jelly. And it was white, bald-headed. It had these teeth that you just wouldn't imagine. But we didn't get that until we looked outside. And I believe it was reprimandation. It was the Lords and Ladies teaching us that when we're astraling this place, it's meant that the whole place be with us, and that the outside world weren't meant to be a part of it because that was the world, and not, and not the looking out the window. I mean, that was a mistake. We weren't to look out there. And I don't even think that we were seeing the physical realm. What I'm expressing here, what I'm describing, could be of the dark elves. I mean, it had pointy ears. It was white and jelly-like. It had these teeth. It was totally sky-clad. And, you know, it looked humanoid. So, I mean, it could look very elvish, but it would look very dark elvish. And I don't know a lot about the Fae world. And the elves are a part of that. And there's a dark side and a light side to everything. And we'll do some study on that, and we'll talk about that as time goes on. But I should have kept it in the room. The windows should have been kept shut. Or we should have had them shut to begin with. We didn't open these. They were there. And then we began paying attention to the window. And then we went deeper into what was out there. And this is what we saw, and it was wrong. And either we were being reprimanded for looking out there and being told by that to stay inside, keep it inside, and don't let our eyes go beyond the walls again, you know. And that's what I really feel. And it's you know, a kind of a light reprimandation of the God and Goddess. And really more of them just telling us, don't do that. We're doing this as a place of peace for you. Just abide that and don't question this gift. You know, whereas when you question it, you know, you sometimes could tend to fall if it's the wrong question. You know, but this is wonderful, and it's, I believe, a very, very big gift of mine, but I don't feel that it's something that I can do by myself. I can cast up the circle, I can create a cone of power by myself, although, you know, it's more stronger if there's more people, or I can by myself bring up the lit walls or the walls of power to do whatever work I need to do and fill it full of power. I have all of that. But to astral an entire sanctuary, I do feel that the power is within me to do that. But I don't think it would come very often unless there are others that are helping me to knock the roof off the place. And by that, it's a metaphor by, you know, rocking this place, you know, bringing it off the ground with all of our power and all of our energy. And of course, you know, without the God and Goddess and the energy that consists of everything, you know, the energy that is in everything around us, without that, we wouldn't be able to do this. You know, and I feel very, very faithful in that. Anyway, so hopefully this answers a few questions to do with astraling, as well as questions to do with bringing up power, or what you can do with that power when you create it, or how it can be created. You know, and sometimes it just takes for you all to be at one accord and thinking about the same thing, talking about the same thing, or just enjoying each other's company to create and let that energy build. And trust me, we'll be talking for hours when this stuff will start happening. So it takes a while if you're just sitting around and talking and all of that, but it happens. And it really depends on the depth of the matter that we're talking about. Anyway, to all of you, happy Ostara, because this is March the 20th today. I want to wish you the happiest Ostara that you could possibly have, and bright blessings. Bye-bye.